Good morning, everyone. This is Tony from our Homestead Skills. Hope everyone is doing well. I don't know about you, but over here the weather is changing. It feels like fall is in the air, even though it's still August. We still have at least, another 10 days of August to go before September hits, and then at least another 20 days. So we're looking at another month, actually, before the start of fall, but the weather's cooling down. Certainly don't need air conditioning, although all the shops still have it. But in my own home, I don't turn the air conditioning on. I may open windows and doors to get some fresh air in, because fresh air is always good. Down to about in the 60s at night. And if we're lucky, we'll get mid 70s during the day. So yes, it's definitely cooling down here. Mark was saying that yes, Alabama's still much warmer, but I suspect that fall will come just a little bit later there than what it does here, which is fine, because that's the whole idea, is being able to escape the cold when we get down there. Now I have done, I know my last video I did about 100 pounds of tomato puree and canned that all up, and I did do another 50 pounds. There was no point in going through that process again. So if you certainly are interested in how I process that quantity, I do have a number of videos available to go through that whole process with you. But yes, I did another 50 pounds here. So all told here, I have 150 pounds, and I was down to only a few jars. Mind you, I still have at least, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 quarts. And I do like to save the quarts for when I make chili, because sometimes I find that when I make a huge pot of chili, I'll use 4, 5, 6 quarts of tomato puree in there. So, you know, you don't think you're going, but yeah, need another jar. And of course, the whole concept there is to make a huge pot of chili and then can it up and have chili in my pantry for those days that you just don't feel like cooking and chili just sounds like a great meal. Now, I did spot some of those 1.5 jars at Dollarama. I didn't check the price. They were made in China, but you know what? And I won't be buying those. And now I've heard from subscribers that Ball has stopped making the 1.5 jars, which I find rather disappointing. Those are a perfect size for chili for Mark and I. I know that the pint tends to be a bit short. So a 1.5 would be perfect, a quart would be too much. So perhaps, if possible, I'll see if I could find an American brand. I hear that there are other manufacturers of that size jar, and I'll see what I can find. And if I do manage to find something, maybe I should go to Canadian Tire and see if they have any available. I probably should have bought a box years ago. Loved the size, just never thought I would. You know, you have so many jars that you don't fill, that it becomes an issue having that many jars. But now with 2 homes, I am bringing some of my empties there and starting a new pantry over there as well. So as far as tomatoes are concerned, I've done 150 pounds here. I did 50 pounds in Alabama, so I've got 200 pounds. Now the 50 pounds in Alabama is going to be a bit light, but then again, we eat differently down there anyway. We have the barbecue, which is awesome. We can't barbecue in the apartment. So we did bring our barbecue down there, and we can barbecue, you know, to our heart's content. That's something that we've missed for a long time. So yes, we do eat a little bit differently down there. So I doubt that we'll be eating as much pasta as we do here. But it's all good. It's all good. We have some, and if I feel like making homemade pasta or lasagna, I do have my own homemade tomato sauce, which I can use. So now, although I have completed my tomato canning for the year, I thought I'd do some reconnaissance and see what kinds of, what other shops are marketing those tomatoes for, what prices they're selling them for. So I did go to what is called a farmer's market last week. It's a combination farmer's market, flea market, and antique market. I love the place, but I go there very rarely. Now, it can be difficult to get into. It's only open on weekends, and it can be very busy. Now, the farmer's market, I'm not too fussy on the quality of what I see there. It's not bad, but I know that the stores that are close to me have better quality products. So I don't know if these are shops, or people that have shops elsewhere and then do a big blowout at the farmer's market. I suspect that they can do that. And it's busy and it's packed all the time and people are buying tons of stuff. And I did find that they had tomatoes and peppers. I mean, they had everything there. Any kind of fruit and vegetable you want to buy, it was available. They even had beautiful figs. Now, the figs were gorgeous. Not cheap, but they were gorgeous. And they were much larger than the ones I've got from my tree, but I didn't have to pay for them. Well, I did. I mean, I bought the property, so in effect, I did pay for my figs, but that tree will provide figs for me every year. Now, the tomatoes, in comparison, they had these strange bushels that I've never seen before, plastic bucket type things, and that seemed to be very common throughout that market. And I think that they were about a half bushel size, and they wanted $25, $24.95 for those, and I'm like, whoa. I paid $27 for 50 pounds, and that was probably about 25 pounds. So, and the quality was no better. As a matter of fact, the ones I got from the farm were absolutely, the first batch, there wasn't one bad. The second batch that I bought 50, there were a couple of bad ones, and they were just a little too soft. I could have processed them, but I thought, no, I would just throw those two out and no big deal. But that is the issue with tomatoes. They do, you do have to make sure that they're still firm and they're fresh. Fresh is the issue. Even if you bought them a little bit green and you just let them ripen, you're better off than buying them overly ripe. So, okay, so $25, I said, well, great, I did a great deal there. Then today I stopped by, where was it? Oh yes, today I stopped by a No Frills, and I was shocked to see a box of 25 pounds of tomatoes for $9, 8 and change, just under $9. That's an awesome price, and they weren't bad quality. They weren't as good as what I got from the farm. Yeah, I think it was, turns out to be about 75 pounds for what I paid for 50 pounds. But once again, I think the quality was just slightly not as, I would have bought those had I not purchased the ones I did, but I'm still quite happy with what I bought. And the big problem with the stores, and I've seen this happen very often, when I went up to that, there was a limit of 2 per person, so 50 pounds per person. But there was this couple there who ended up getting 4 boxes, so I guess 2 each. But then they were picking through the boxes, so what they found bad in one, they switched it for another one, or maybe they added a bit more to their box. So you get that in stores. I see that happen in stores, and it irritates me to no end, because then the next person is either short or has stuff that the quality is not quite the same. It shouldn't happen. It's not supposed to happen. I find when I have purchased them in the stores, and I have rarely, but I have, that I would just lift the box and just get one that hasn't been tampered with. But it is what it is. People always want the best for the least amount. I think sometimes, and that's the problem with a lot of people buying a lot of Chinese goods. You want the cheapest price, but unfortunately you're not always getting the best quality. So I'm quite thrilled and quite happy with my purchase at the farm, and I have to remember to do that again next year. And unfortunately I cannot grow enough with the little plot that I've got here to grow my own and supply my own. I mean, if I had, I could probably set something up in Alabama to do that, but I'm not there during the season where you can harvest the tomatoes, so that's out. Now, I did buy some fresh parsley at that market because for some strange reason, Costco doesn't have dried parsley. They have what they call an Italian mix. I don't want a mix. I want straight parsley. And I want it in the larger container, you know, the big plastic container you can buy. I've checked for parsley a number of times now that I've been to Costco. They didn't have any, which kind of surprises me. And I went to another store where I buy a lot of fruit and vegetables, and they have spices galore. And they don't have parsley in the larger container either. They do have the little packets for, you know, a couple of dollars. So I have purchased a few of those, but I go through a packet very quickly. So while I was at the farmer's market, at the big flea market, farmer's market, antique marketplace, I did pick up a number of bunches of fresh parsley and pulled the leaves off the stems, and they are drying now. So I will be drying my own. Now, I could have freeze-dried them, but I think I just wanted to dry them and then crumple them up and put them in a jar. And I should have enough that lasts until I could find more. Now, I do plan to grow parsley in Alabama, and hopefully I can have parsley year-round there. I had parsley growing in a sheltered place when I had my home, and I found that it was still there in December. It could take a little bit of a light frost if it's in a sheltered place. So I think that I should be able to grow it in Alabama year-round. So once I plant it, hopefully it will self-seed, and if not, I'll help it to self-seed. Now I am going to make another batch of dill pickles. I'm going to ferment dill pickles, so I was looking around for those. I did pick some up today, but I'm going to go into that in another video in the process of how I make those. So anyway, just wanted to touch base. I'm going to show you a few of the pictures that I took from the farmer's market and the antique market. I mean, I love that antique market. I could... There's so many things I could buy there. Oh yes, there was this one shop where I saw, what are they called? Phonographs, you know, those old music players, like with the big trumpet-looking thing. And I looked, and he had, I don't know, 3 of them that I could see off the top of my head, and they were beautiful. And so I chatted with the owner for a few minutes. I said, oh, those are absolutely gorgeous. And he had beautiful lamps. I may go back someday and buy a lamp off him if he's still around. The lamps were not priced bad at all, anywhere between $200 and $300 for lamps like this one that I have back here. I don't know if, yeah, something like this one, but a little bit fancier, a little bit nicer. Someone was a dragonfly, others, you know, different sizes. Beautiful, beautiful lamps, and they weren't priced bad, I think, for what they are. But the phonographs are something that you never see anywhere. And so we chatted about those, and he said, yeah, he collects them. He has like 17 of them. I thought, wow, that's quite a number. And apparently I said, you don't see those. I mean, you see them in old movies. And he said, yes, he does rent them out to movie productions when they are looking for one to use in a movie. And Very interesting fellow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things in his shop. And he walked me over to his second booth, where he also had more lamps and more of these phonographs and so many other beautiful things. I mean, I love it all. I could buy tons of stuff there, but alas, funds and no place to put these things. So anyway, I'm going to show you a few pictures, and that's what I did last week, and this week I'll see if I can do some more canning videos. Anyway, this is Tony from Our Homestead Skills. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now.